there's only 30 Godzilla movies. We were talking about this on my stream.
I know you keep trying to convince me to watch all of Godzilla with you.
No, I'm not saying this for you because like I was talking about it with.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Hello, I'm looking up my favorite directors.
Totally not a spoiler for what we might have planned for the year 2025.
2025 slate. Hey, to be fair, it is late. We normally... Oh, I almost dropped the die. No. It's...
Only one? We're supposed to roll two for this series.
Yeah, well, I was squeezing them together and then it popped out of my hands and almost fell. But I have gathered them and I am here.
Welcome to here. Hello.
I'm going to click off of this so that way I can see what I'm actually supposed to look at. So...
Do you have anything fun for the intro, or have I distracted you too much?
I watched a movie.
I feel like last recording, you also told me you watched a movie just for fun.
Yeah, well, that one's on vacation. This one was with a girlfriend.
Congratulations. Did you go to a theater?
No. We just watched it at her place. We watched the Godzilla and Kong, the New Kingdom, whatever the new one is.
Oh, so you watched Minus Zero on vacation.
Watched Minus Zero on vacation, yes.
And then you watched, I think Godzilla vs. King Kong came out after, right?
They all came out around the same time. I think -1 came out in the spring, and I think later that year, New Kingdom came out, or it might have been the next year. I don't know.
It's pretty close in like release. But You want to know something fun I saw when I was scrolling through that subscription service that has the Godzilla movie?
Mm-hmm.
They did a release that's black and white.
I did hear about that.
Yeah.
They did. I remember when they were doing this is for -1, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I realized...
That's the one that makes the most sense for it to be in black and white. I don't think the action-packed, CGI-heavy kaiju versus kaiju movie would lend itself well in black and white.
Yeah, it's... No, I would love to watch a movie in black and white. I think they just said that there's... I think I saw an IGN deals today, and I'm like, if I'm really tempted to get it... See, I'm going to just scroll down through IGN deals to see if I can find it. And there it is. There's a limited 4K Steelbook Godzilla -1 pre-order on Amazon for like 50 some bucks. But there's no actual release date.
Oh.
And it looks really fancy and everything like that. But I'm like, I'm okay just getting the book. Like, just getting the movie. I realize Godzilla is one of those movies that I would want to get the physical copy. Like, there's only 30 Godzilla movies. We were talking about this on my stream.
I know you keep trying to convince me to watch all of Godzilla with you.
No, I'm not saying this for you because like I was talking about it with on the cooking stream. I was like, guys, I want to watch these movies at some point. Would you guys be down, like, if we just did a movie night in the Discord if I got them? And they're like, a handful of people were like, yeah, I'll watch kaiju movies. And they're just like, man, my audience and me have similar tastes. Who would have thought?
Imagine.
Sorry, I just also saw out of the corner of my eye. I saw the big 1 score, and then there's just a little 5, which made me laugh. In the Discord. About a certain mockumentary.
Yes. You can scroll down and see a very symmetrical sepia-toned image.
Oh, no, that's also on the same screen. So
I forgot. You have massive monitors.
Yes, I have giant, stupid monitors. But anyway, yeah, so I think I mentioned it before. I know I mentioned it multiple times. Like, Godzilla -1 is amazing. I think everyone should watch it, even if you're not a fan of kaiju films. This is... -1 is much more of my kaiju film, where it's like there is the kaiju threat, but the story is so focused on the humans.
It's a anti-war movie.
Yes.
If anyone's like, sorry, it's because we were discussing our plans and talking about like, oh, famous directors tend to do a lot of war movies, and you're like, this is a movie I like. I was like, yes, anti-war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and but yeah, it's got like, and I think it's like a really good showcasing of like PTSD that isn't like over the top, or like it is like dramatized a little bit, but because it's a movie, you got to be interested in it. But it's just like the burden that the man carries, I forget his name, and then just like the pure rage of Godzilla. Just like,
it was interesting. I watched it, I think, only shortly after I finished Sword of Kaigen, so I think it was a kind of an interesting like
yes.
combination of, because both Sword of Kaigen is also anti-war, but in a more brutal sense than Godzilla is. Godzilla is kind of like, this is the after effects of the war and what happened to Japan, and also the guilt that the guy lives with for having witnessed a lot of death and
not doing his duty.
And then reading Sword of Kaigen, where everyone's like, I'm trying to do my duty, but they're not letting me. They don't care about me. And I'm like, very different like perspectives on a very cruel act of humanity.
I was about to say something humorous, and then I realized that's a pretty big spoiler.
That's why I paused. I was like, people trying their best.
But yeah, so there's that, and just seeing like the Godzilla that I think is portrayed in the earlier films of just a force of destruction and anger. Then watching what I've been calling the buddy cop kaiju movie of Kong and Godzilla.
No plot, just kaiju.
It is a summer blockbuster plot. Now, I will say, like, people who have been watching these episodes know, like, hey, Hop and I, we enjoy our story. We enjoy our focus on themes and stuff. Like, we did over half a year series on A24 films, where that's the majority of them, their jam. I don't know. Some of that's probably still out on A Ghost Story, but
that was like it was such an average movie that compared to a lot of the other movies we watched, we went, why did we pick this? Oh right, it was on Tubi. That was our biggest red flag.
To be fair, I think if A Ghost Story wasn't put in the A24 series, it might have, like, I don't think it would have changed our like
we wouldn't have been
rating.
So mean to it.
I think that's the thing. Like, because like in reflection, it's just like, I don't know. It is an interesting take, like, of watching like a ghost, like the watching
time passing
a ghost, even though of some of the decisions and stuff that they did while in the writing, and we're just like, why, and doesn't make sense, but it is. Like,
it is a perfect Valentine's Day movie, and that's why it was getting re-aired in theaters on Valentine's Day.
So, but yeah, it's the most interesting part of that movie is only shown like 2 times. And it's when he's talking to the neighbor.
Oh, the ghost talk.
Yes, to me, I'm like, that is the most interesting part of like that whole world, and then it's just we don't get enough of it. But any poops, we're not here to talk about A Ghost Story. But anyway, yeah, the Kong and Godzilla and Kong, whatever it was, New Kingdom, it is such a fun movie. Have you watched it?
No, I probably won't, only because I don't have any reason other than if it's not a movie that hurts my brain, then I'll watch it another time, and another
never
time
watch it.
Never happens. Yeah.
I'm gonna find out who directs that. I'm gonna put it on the list.
Watch it be Michael Bay.
Okay, now I have to look it up.
This is at least related to the conversation at hand. While D-Payne's looking that up, I guess we have done quite a bit of pre-show banter. So if you didn't realize where you are or what's going on, we are in the middle of our Courage the Cowardly Dog series where we're just chatting about the episodes and enjoying ourselves. It's a nice break for preparing for the fall season before we go into more movie watching for the winter and then potentially movies all year next year. Based on what we've been chatting about.
It is not Michael Bay. It is Adam Wingard.
Okay.
Which it's interesting because he did Godzilla and Kong, New Empire, did Godzilla versus Kong. Oh, he did one of... Okay, like, I'm not... Like, part of me saying about doing this because he has, like, one of my favorite, like, twist movies on here.
You can put them on.
Called The Guest. But then it's like... The Guest is, like, it has a middling score, but I still think it's a lot of fun. But anyway, and then after that, it's like he's got the Blair Witch remake and Death Note.
Oh no. I don't want to watch the Blair Witch remake or the live action.
Don't worry, if we're just going to watch the Godzilla movies, The Guest, and then he has... Oh, wait, that's a TV show. Is there at least... Whatever. Oh, wait, there's... Oh, those are shorts. Anyway, I'll just leave this here. But anyway, it wasn't that. You guys will learn about this, well, later.
All I'll say now is if you have some favorite directors, leave it to us in comments, in a review, or message us, or however else. Stick it into a rating, list out your favorite directors, and we might watch movies by them next year.
Smoke signals.
4 or 5 months from now, depending when this releases.
Let's see. Well, you have the air date.
I do.
Oh yeah, a month. Wait a second. Are we really that far ahead? Wait. What is today? What are we recording? Oh yeah, it would be that one. Okay. It's still a good chunk. It's 3 weeks anyway.
Yeah, it's after...
Yeah, after that one where we got to, like, reevaluate our recording schedule.
Yeah, because you're busy next Wednesday, and then I'm busy the one after.
Yeah. So, we'll figure it out.
But that's not for the listeners to worry about. The listeners have to worry about which one of us gets to talk first about Courage the Cowardly episodes parts.
Or which one gets to pick.
Who gets the pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, this week we watched The Demon in the Mattress and Freaky Fred.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, this felt like the first one where both episodes leaned into the, like, horror tropes.
Yes, that's pretty much what I was going to say. For anyone who doesn't know, we roll dice because we're giant nerds. Did you already say this?
Not yet.
And we are rolling a D20 and a D6 because... there was 13 episodes with 26 parts, and so the max number is the highest number you can roll is 26. That's what we're doing, and plus we just like rolling as dice that we can.
D-Payne has podcasts of him doing content
with dice.
We're
getting close to the end of that, actually. Like we're in the the last arc and then the epilogue.
Yeah, if you find my YouTube, I put on like 4 episodes of Curse of Strahd, like a very famous D&D module, 5e. I also made incestuous frogs.
That's
unrelated,
what she's known for.
Unrelated to Curse of Strahd.
No, that like then line of thought. That is what Curse of Strahd does. There's a live show that I listened to their podcast, and they've been doing Curse of Strahd for like 6 years, but it's but like they kind of take into different genres. So like they're like, okay, this season's gonna be like cyberpunk, this one, or Shadowrun, this one's gonna be whatever. But they always play D&D. And for some reason, Strahd's always there. And I can't quote what they say because they're Australian. And the words that they say that are not offensive are very
Way
offensive
more offensive
to hear. I keep getting distracted from my math, so I'll let you go first. What did you roll?
I rolled an 8 on my d20, a 1 on my d6, so a 9.
I thought you were about to say like another die.
I stuck in a d8.
All right. Well, I rolled a 3 plus 18, so I got a 21.
Oh, almost max.
Yeah. We're not keeping track of who won what this for this series.
No.
But
Which episode would you
both
prefer to talk
good
about?
in their own ways. I'm gonna take Freaky Fred.
I could have guessed that. The fact that you thought about it, I was like, is he really thinking about this one?
I like them both. They both have like their own thing, but I'm like, nah. Freaky Fred. Let's be honest. Sometimes it's the way I talk normally. Anyway.
Is that your inner monologue?
Naughty.
Anyway, yeah. So let's jump into the episode. So yeah, the part A for this one is the demon in the mattress. This one, definitely is Poltergeist, like as a very short story. What you basically have is Muriel and Eustace fighting over not being able to get a good night's rest, and Muriel complaining that the mattress is the worst thing ever, and Eustace is like poring over the newspaper, is mean to Courage, because Courage is just sitting there waiting patiently for breakfast, and Eustace takes everything of his and throws it onto the floor to steal his chair, and then finds that there's like a mattress that quote unquote will change your life forever. So Muriel makes the phone call, and there's the really, like, suspicious line that's just like, yes, you will sleep in it, and your life will never be the same. And Courage is like, this seems bad. And he listens in on the line, and they keep saying, like, ominous messages, and Muriel's like, perfect, I don't want it lumpy. And they're like, no lumps, no lumps. And she's like, sold, that's all I need, that's all I can ask for, because our mattress has lumps, and I hate it. And then we cut to creepy Frankenstein rats that I was... At first, I was like, is this underneath their own house? And they're going to open the door and, like, the perspective's going to change. But instead, we get a beautiful glimpse of what 3D generated art looked like in the late 90s for the wheels of this carriage. As it's like... I don't know. When you think of, like, janky 3D, this is just what it looks like.
Yeah.
Especially against the backdrop of, like, a hand-drawn background and hand-drawn characters and everything. It's, like, really stark.
I didn't notice when I was a kid because I remember watching this episode as a kid.
It is a good episode. It's very memorable. So you have this, like, evil carriage where they're carrying this bright green glowing mattress, and the movers are these two rats that like to hiss and scream, and they're carrying it in, and you see a demon face in the mattress, and Courage is like, this is terrible. And then they hiss and growl at Courage, to which he, gets scared and runs off. And Muriel, upon seeing the mattress, doesn't mind that her room is glowing green from a new piece of furniture at all.
It's a lime Kool-Aid flavored.
Yeah, and she is so excited to take a nap that for the first time ever, she's mean to Courage, kicks him out, says he's not allowed to take a nap with her. She absolutely needs her beauty sleep. And then, not too long, I forget exactly. Is it Courage goes to just visit her because he's worried about it, and she's already become possessed?
He digs up a ladder and looks through the window and sees like this green vapor smoke
possessing her. Yeah,
going up her nose.
And then full poltergeist where she's floating off of the bed while she's asleep, and he screams. So he goes to Eustace and, does his thing where he transforms himself to explain what's happening. And Eustace, of course, ignores him as he does. So he forces him to go upstairs, and they see evil Muriel, who has, like, floating red hair all around her and, like, tendrils. And they're both, of course, freaked out. And I'm trying to remember, is this when they're both upstairs? that's when it starts to speak in like the not Muriel voice but demon voice.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And that's when it twists its head off.
Yeah, so they both try and figure out what to do and are horrified by it. And Eustace is saying things like, you know what, it probably just gave her a nightmare. Just leave her alone. We don't have to fix any of this. To which Courage always knows better. So my favorite part is Courage goes up to possess Muriel and is like, you know what, you want to make a deal? And they agree to a thumb war.
Without even talking about it.
No, they just kind of like look at each other, yeah. But of course Courage loses because nothing's that easy for Courage. So he goes to his trusty AI and he's basically like, exorcist. And the computer's like, oh no, well, that's too bad. Good luck, kid. And prints out like instructions on how to perform a proper exorcism for him. Mm-hmm. To which Courage brings it to Eustace, and Eustace starts slowly following the instructions because he doesn't want to deal with anything as Eustace does. Step 1 is to put on something flowy, so he hands him like Muriel's like moo moo and stuff. And then he starts to read out what is supposed to be an incantation, but Eustace has no like willingness to stick to it. And I think it's gotta be on this wiki. Oh, okay. Hullabaloo and howdy do, musty prawns and Timbuktu, Yeltsy by and hippity hool, kick 'em in the dishpan, hoo hoo hoo. And Eustace is like, what am I reading?
Yeah.
But Courage is like, come on, we gotta do this. So he drags him up, and Eustace immediately, like, he doesn't commit to the bit, and the demon just starts laughing at him and does, like, the creepy tongue thing, except it's enormous, reaches across the room. And then also projectile vomits at him. So Eustace is absolutely done. He's not doing it. And Courage decides to just like go for it, and when the demon is laughing at him for doing it, actually like his possession leaves Muriel. But I just loved when Courage did it, because Courage was like, you could not understand most of what he was saying, but he put in all the energy, especially the very end. He's like hoo hoo hoo. Yes. As his little self,
a little cheerleader.
Yeah. And then Eustace has his hazmat suit because he didn't want to get puked on or licked anymore, to which he immediately gets possessed. And he goes to harass Muriel, and Courage going, oh, it's Eustace's body? I don't care. Bites him on the butt. To which Muriel does as she does and like whacks a rolling pin over his head. And as Muriel does, she disregards Eustace at all by rolling him in the mattress and getting it returned. Surprisingly, without a lot of questions asked. You would think if you have a demon-possessed mattress and someone called to order it, you'd be really excited to just like go, oh, I can't take that from you, I'm so sorry. Unless the demon is like, I just need a host that's willing to not like do an exorcism.
There's one correction that I want to make is that this, I think you said poltergeist. This is more exorcist, I believe.
Oh, exorcist, you're right. Yeah. Poltergeist has
that's the TV Indian Burial Ground.
Yeah, but that one also has a lot of vomiting and, ghosts that just like to bully people. So
I haven't watched Poltergeist, but I know that the scene where Muriel vomits on Eustace is very much from The Exorcist that gets
used a lot.
Yeah.
And I believe, was it Exorcist where they put puke bags in theaters because people were throwing up while watching it?
So I can't remember. It's one of those movies like it has such a
cultural impact.
That, and then like you don't realize, like you go back and look and just see how much what was it that that director did. I forget who. Oh wait, is it here? I'm just looking. It's let's see, Wikipedia. Exorcist, who directed it? William Friedkin. Of just like, I remember them talking about how they wanted to, because there's a famous scene of like when the the priest and everything, and like the parents want to like go up this flight of steps, and they wanted to shoot it, and like originally they had like the cameraman walking backwards, but the it was too shaky, and so I think it's like one of the first times that they went and built a pulley crane system to pull the cameraman up the stairs, so he's just like in this harness holding the camera while like everyone's like running after him, and it's like, I'm pretty sure it's not the first, but it's like one of the earliest. But anyway, that's a completely different thing.
And they now have like dollies and systems set up, so like pretty much every movie everywhere, if there's not a dolly, then they have the
drone,
the technology, so that like even if you move, the camera stabilizes itself. Whenever I see people with those stabilization gimbals, whenever I see gimbals, I think of chicken heads. Have you seen videos of chickens? If you hold a chicken by the body and you move them around,
oh yes,
their head always wants to stay in the same spot.
Well, now that is all I'm going to think about.
And this is not an episode with any chickens in it, so I guess I can't connect it. Let's see. Anything else?
There's a hamster. Let's see. What did I wrote?
The hamster's in your episode.
Well, it's in the overall arching umbrella of episode 4. As soon as I was watching this, I was like, man, it would be amazing if we had a mattress sponsor.
And to not have a demonic night's sleep, you can enter code.
And then I wrote, it's like, man, I don't care if the mattress is haunted. That delivery service is like metal as all get out, except for the rats. I'm like, which I guess is also pretty metal as well. But I'm like, I don't want giant muscle rats.
You've had enough. You've had enough mice following you from apartment to apartment.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a free. I don't recall them exchanging money at all.
Yeah, they're just like, we know where you live, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, this sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
And then there was like a couple other things that was cracking me up. Like, it was like, come closer. It's like, closer. And he's like, would you like some tea? It's just like the scariest tea in nowhere.
And Courage is like, oh.
He's like,
the thing I forgot to mention, one of my favorite like stills that I like kind of want to make a profile picture for the season is Courage kind of like inching up, where you like you said, the closer, and all you have is like this crooked angle of like a really like discouraged Courage looking at the ground, slowly tiptoeing forward.
Hey, we can. I don't know how to Photoshop or any of that stuff. So if you make it, I'll slap it on and update all the things and make that the. I'll make that the.
I used to make the thumbnails for YouTube, and then I don't know. I get in my own head, and that ruins my ability to be consistent in creating content.
Hey, but with the way we do it now, all you have to do is make one. that will be good for the whole 13 episodes.
Oh, that is true. I don't necessarily have to do them for every movie.
Yeah, and then for the next series, I guess you could also make one. Just like choose a couple of the characters from the movies we're watching.
Oh, and then winter background.
Yeah, and then our logo slapped somewhere on there, and then it's just like, cool, there we go.
That is smart. I did purposely buy myself, when I was traveling more often and I wanted like a laptop to go, I did buy one that has a pencil for me to like do this stuff. So
it's at the Surface Pro. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine's over there somewhere, and it's dying. now it's just me to read chat when I stream on Sunday. Let's see, there was something else that was part of this movie that is just, it shows the age of when this was made, is Muriel calls in the mattress and is like getting all there, and Courage is like, whoa, and just like runs to the other room and picks up the phone to hear the other conversation.
Oh, being able to like listen in on
it's like the whole landline, and I'm like, yeah. And this is like the first episode where Eustace and Courage, I think, actually work together.
Yeah, the trivia on the wiki says this is the first episode in which they team up without the exchange of money. And I was like, in earlier episodes, did they exchange money at all? I don't recall.
The first episode...
Like, why did
Yeah.
they specify that? I mean, I'm sure in
I
later
think it's
episodes.
later episode. It's probably the only one. But yeah, I also like. I'm pretty sure you saw this. The censorship notes where the head twists off. Apparently, in some countries that had to be censored.
Yeah, I was curious because I figured I would start asking at the end of episodes if you would rewatch these episodes with your niece. I'm guessing these two are no's right now because she's pretty young.
Um,
You can just comment on this one since we're talking about this one right now.
Yeah, I think this one probably has, just enough like just scary. I'm gonna say both would be no's, but they're for different reason. I think this one just like with the context of everything, she'd probably be fine. She might even find it funny, but it's just like, why put that in a 4-year-old's head? And going on 5, it's just like, no, there's better Courage episodes that I think would be better to watch. It's just like,
It might not induce nightmares.
yeah. So like, I think she's getting to the point now where she's starting to, like, her brain is starting to imagine. And so there's like things like she'll be afraid of or whatever. And it's just like, no, it's like, that's fine. Blah, blah, blah. It's just the camera. Like, so that way, in case something goes wrong, your dad can see you and all that stuff. Like, the baby monitor camera. And so, but it's the man's. Don't worry, he's not on camera. But anyway, yeah, but I think that would be, I think this one I'd probably wait a little bit. Like, I don't know, maybe when she's like 6 or 7 or something like that. But overall, I don't think there's anything especially wrong.
Let the brain establish a few more wrinkles before.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I forgot to mention, because we mentioned it in previous episodes, Courage's various catch lines. In this one, he says, "I've got a bad feeling about this," or "My name is Nana," and it's not.
Was it the anime, Nana?
It says Nana, so.
I don't even remember what he. I don't remember because I heard it. I just don't remember it.
I looked at the transcript. I cheated.
It's all good. Is there anything else we want to say about this episode?
Nothing else that I think stands out enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way that they made everything glow green was cool.
Yeah, like,
It definitely.
Set a
looked
theme.
at the. Yeah, I looked at the room once they put the mattress in, and I was like, "Yeah, that is a bad idea." Of course, Courage has a bad feeling.
yeah, that mattress is LED lights and it's from Razer.
If only we were sponsored.
Yeah. Oh man, I need new headphones. I'm just having decision paralysis on what I want to get. Also, the fact that I bought a car. But anyway, yeah. So I guess we can move on to the next one, which is Freaky Fred. Freaky Fred. Quick synopsis is Muriel is getting set up for her nephew coming in, which Eustace is not a fan of. And Courage, I think, is just getting nervous because Eustace is acting the way he is, to the point where he shows up and we learn that he's a barber, but not any kind of barber, one of those freaky barbers.
Specifically.
Yep. But anyway, this whole episode is a much different vibe, where it starts off with narration from Fred, and it is all like in almost nursery rhyme, Dr. Seuss-esque, as the rhymes are going on, as he's telling a story and kind of giving this history of why he loves cutting hair, and he just loves cutting hair, especially with people, like against people's will, and so like pretty much in the beginning of the movie, the beginning of the show, of this episode, he comes over. Muriel's like, "Oh, yes, my nephew, you're finally here. Cool." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he's just like, just strange. Like he does that like fun, weird, creepy cartoon thing where he looks at somebody, but instead of turning his head, he just like slides his eyes over, just smiling and not really talking all that much. And then he just sees Courage. He's like, I need to cut his hair. And,
he's so inspired.
yeah, and then Muriel tells Courage like, "Hey, show Fred where the bathroom is," and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to," but eventually does after being scolded. And then Muriel tells Eustace to take the towels up to Fred. While he does that, he pretty much locks them both in the bathroom, both Courage and Fred. And he's like, "Well, I gotta go get stuff from the hardware store to fix the door to get him out." And Muriel's just like, "Don't worry, it's gonna be fine." All while Fred is like, "I'm gonna shave you." But like throughout all this, he tells this story of like how Courage is like reminding him of past shavings that he forced upon people. First one was his pet hamster.
Same color as Courage.
Same color as Courage. The second one, I believe, was his girlfriend, Barbara, former girlfriend Barbara, and she broke up because she shaved off all her hair. And then I think the last one is
the guy that came in for the trim.
The trim, and just kind of cuts off all his
couldn't help
hair.
himself.
Yeah. He did his armpits, his back, beard, everything. And so anyway, like all this is going on, and it's told like just in like these creepy kind of just
rhymes.
Yeah, rhymes and stuff. And so anyway, like Courage is going through it while Muriel's just like, "It's okay, here, have pancakes, here, have this." And it's just like, "It's okay." And then at the end she's like, "Where is that stupid man?" So anyway, all that's going on, and then Courage, I didn't see where he got the cell phone because I think I got up to get some, like a popsicle or something because I was getting hungry. But like he gets a cell phone and calls like the insane asylum for them to come, the Freaky Barber's insane asylum. And there's like,
if I'm not inside,
yes,
call this number.
Exactly. And it's they call him. He's like, "Is he cutting hair?" Yes. And they finally get in there and grab him, and they take him back. And Courage, all he has left is a little tuft of fur on his tail and a little note that says, "With love from Fred." The other side of it, there's like a part B to this story that it's Eustace's best day. Because like every time you're always like, "Where's that man?" Or like, "Don't worry, Eustace will be back." It just cuts to him like reading a newspaper in his truck, him sunbathing, him just like just
at the movies.
Yeah, just enjoying life and not doing what he's supposed to be doing.
I mean, it's clear from the very beginning what his plan was, and I don't blame Eustace, especially because Eustace is the one that freaks Courage out in the beginning. He's like, he's a barber, but like he's freaky, and he has a freaky barber shop where they do freaky stuff. And Courage is like, "Ah."
It's like the first time where Eustace is like,
"This is too much for me. I'm not
or
even
like,
gonna."
It's like, "Oh, okay, this works." Like like what he's trying to do actually makes sense. Like it's okay. No, we can get behind this and all that, but like we can understand his thing where most of the time it's just like, "I don't really deal with this because the dog's telling me."
Yeah, this perspective is one where we go, yeah, if I was related to someone that had a nephew like this, I would also find any excuse to be busy. Because I do like when he first tries to leave me, he's like, now, you have to say hi to company. Pulls out the newspaper, sits next to him, counts to 5. Well, time for me to leave.
Yeah. And yeah, it's also funny because it's just like, I don't know why he would be freaked out. He doesn't have any hair.
Maybe he's worried that he'll shave Muriel's head and he he could be weird and not want to pull the area.
But he just leaves. You think if that was the case, he'd probably help.
Well, he left after he locked him in the bathroom.
True.
Yeah, because he purposely put in all the locks.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm very confused on the like dimensional breaking chair that Eustace has. Because like, and there's many things where he just fits in by himself, but in this, there's a screenshot literally of Courage, Fred, and Eustace all fitting in this chair.
I know. And then like they also have Muriel like bringing the rocking chair upstairs too, and I was like, how did she get that upstairs? I know she didn't carry that upstairs all by herself just to sit there and knit and hand them pancakes while she waits for Eustace to get back.
Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just I find this episode a lot of fun. Oh, that's fun. I was reading the trivia and it's just like, and then there's the big thing where pretty much Fred finishes almost every, I guess every stanza of his poems with naughty. So,
and usually looking at the camera if he can.
Yeah. But according to the trivia, he says naughty 14 times, and then apparently became an internet meme, which, yeah, that's for the time. That sounds
Checks
like it
out,
would.
yeah.
So there's that. His ex-girlfriend, Barbara, also contains his own profession in her name. Oh, this is an interesting little piece of trivia. This is one of the few episodes where neither Eustace or Muriel falls victim to the antagonist. Let's see. I'm just scanning through this. Interesting. So, many consider this to be the creepiest episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog, partially because of his rhymes, but also part of his theme song, which I will say, I think the music for this episode is on point. Like, it is.
Oh, yeah.
It sets the theme. It just, like, it's one of those things where it's pretty easy not to pay attention to, and then, like, you're just sitting there and you're like, wait a second, like, this is really setting the mood of just how creepy. Not like, I don't think creepy.
Unsettling.
Yeah. So, just like, something doesn't feel great. And I don't know why. Let's see.
Oh, I do like that Courage ended up in a toilet again. You made the joke the other episode, like, he must really like it in there. Proof is, he must.
It's a safe place.
This one, he comes out a lot more wet than when he did during the Hotheads episode.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that makes sense. This episode is a parody of the musical Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
I never watched it, so.
I've watched, not the musical version, I've watched I think it's a Tim Burton redo.
Yeah.
I assume it's Tim Burton because it has Helena Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp in it.
Yes.
If those two are in a movie together, I always assume it's Tim Burton.
Yep, film adaptations. Right there. Yep, Tim Burton. Yeah, I heard about that film. Never watched it. I heard good things. But
apparently there are a lot of mistakes in this episode. I'm just like skimming the list.
Yeah. Let's see. Courage was screaming, and as Fred continued to cut off his fur, his voice of him yelling wasn't heard throughout the scene while over the clippers buzzing. It's a bunch of continuity issues. This should be fun. Okay. Yes, I did notice that the wristband swaps wrists.
Look, it's convenient when Courage needs it. He can have the number. For all we know, maybe he has 2 wristbands.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. When the officers walk up stairs, breach Fred to rescue Courage, they broke down the door, and if you look closely on the outside of the door, the lock is gone. It is unclear how it disappeared from the door. It's easy. The animators forgot it existed, just like which arm the wristband was on. Let's see. As Courage was looking up at the ceiling, he was first upstairs and then later seen sitting next to Fred. He wasn't sitting or... Yeah, no, I don't think that's a continuity thing because Muriel tells him to sit down.
It's just time skipped.
Yeah. It's just...
We just didn't get the animation of him hopping down the stairs.
It's like, okay, I feel like that's a nitpick. Let's see. When Eustace talks to Courage about Fred and his barbershop, Courage shakes and chatters his teeth. His upper tooth cavity is replaced with a regular tooth somehow throughout the episode. The decayed tooth reappears. Also, on Courage's backside, 2 birthmark dots disappear as well. However, some scenes, both dots are in the back and behind all 3. Anyway, I could see this, like, some of that stuff I could honestly see this episode has a lot more happening, like a lot of flip-flopping compared to the other thing. And by flip-flopping, it's just like, okay, we have like the portrait of the thing, and a lot of like the focus is Fred, and it's like I could understand like that could just kind of get overlooked.
And there's a lot of styles that they put into this one because of, like you said, like the flashbacks into his different like barbering days. The style for like the hamsters, like they wanted it to look like a painting almost, and the same thing with the ex-girlfriend. Those are different styles. And I think this is the first one that feels really focused on a small space. So it's probably even easier to notice things like that. But because it's focused in such a small space, I'm sure the animators were like, how do we make sure Courage looks like he's gotten shaved and that he's actively being shaved? And that because there's a lot of details, you have to sneak into a lot of those. Whereas the last one was, there's a big moving mattress. Most of the viewers are looking at a big green rectangle. You don't have to worry about quite as much stuff happening on the screen. But I don't know. This one is suitably creepy. I don't think this is the one that I remember as being the creepiest when I was growing up. But I mean, we're going to be watching that episode soon. I think it's in season 1.
Yeah, it's Return the Slab.
But I think that might have been like my first, like I made the jokes about in part A, like the 3D animation on the wheels of the thing look really weird.
Yes.
For some reason, a 3D animation on that creature in that future episode scared me as a kid. I don't know if that was like my first interaction with 3D in my cartoons.
Yeah, I don't know. You're not alone, because I know it freaked my brothers out too, and it didn't hit home with me. But yeah, this I don't really have anything else to say about this episode. That it's a lot of fun. I will answer your question. Would I show this to my niece? This one I would also say no, because I just honestly think she wouldn't understand. It's a lot of storytelling and talking.
It's very slow.
Yeah, and so it's, even though I think it would be fine to show, I
feel like the voice and the music are not ones that I would show to a 4, almost 5-year-old.
Yeah, and so yeah.
And his smile.
Yeah, it's just like, she's got enough to worry about. Let's not put the thought of barbers being terrible in her mind.
Oh yeah, you take her to go to a haircut, and she's like, "Is that Fred?"
Yes, now go get your haircut. But but no, it's definitely like, even that aside, I think like just the flow of this episode, and the way it's done, I don't think I would show it to her until like she's older.
It's even as an adult, I think there's a lot happening in the episode that I know when I watched it as a kid, I definitely missed out on. And I feel like once your frontal lobe is fully formed, I think that's when things start to connect. Because I forgot what happened to the hamster, and I was suitably creeped out because of the slow, just like very subtle zoom in on the hamster. And I was like, it's a kid's show. The hamster's going to be okay, right? And then they showed naked hamster, and I was like, he's not okay.
He lost weight. Yeah, I don't know, it's just definitely one of those things where it's just like, would it be fine for them to watch? Yes, but I don't know.
It wouldn't be your go-tos.
Yeah. Like, I definitely think, like, the episode 4 would probably not be one I would show her, but I think Bigfoot and Hothead, that would be that one would be just, that's more comical, and the Cajun Granny Stew, I think that one would be fun.
But you could just watch Looney Tunes for that
Yes.
one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, I think you covered most of the trivia. You covered the mistakes, even though some of them seemed a bit nitpicky. So I guess we can just let them know what next episode is. The Night of the Weremole and Mother's Day. I think I remember Night of the Weremole.
I closed the wiki, so I need to. There we go. Let's see. It's written by the same guy. Who wrote
Freaky Fred.
Yep.
And Hothead.
Yes.
And then Mother's Day is by the same writer as The Demon in the Mattress, Courage Meets Bigfoot, Dr. LeQuack, and has writing credits on all the first ones.
I'm really just trying to. Oh, this one doesn't have any screenshots of Mother's Day. I'm trying not to read the thing because I want to. Is this when his mom? Yep.
You answered your own question.
So, but yeah. It should be fun. But yeah. So.
Slightly shorter episode, but we're tired old people.
Yeah. I also want popcorn.
Priorities.
Yeah. Well, I want to write a little bit before passing out. This is the last night for a little while that I can stay up to normal times before I go to bed. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching or listening. Yeah, just if you forgot, if you want to leave a comment of a director that you think is cool, maybe we'll put them on there for a theoretical, not theoretical next year project.
And they have to have at least four or five movies.
4+.
Yes.
4+ movies.
For number of movies that maybe are weeks in a month, but we haven't fully established the rules yet.
Yes. But anyway, that is what's up, and I can't think of anything else to say. A word from our sponsors. Thank you. And anyway,
if you'd like to be our sponsor, look at that perfect gap.
Yeah.
We're so good.
Oh man, those people that keep sending us those emails. Hey, we saw your YouTube. Oh, you did or did just some random search algorithm tell you about it?
Oh, I did. So I have been consuming a little bit more YouTube recently, and I realized a Patreon angle. So, You know how we've been saying to people, let us know what directors you like? Theoretically, if there are people out there willing, and we make a Patreon, we could put in, vote on our next series.
Oh.
And that's only member available. But you guys will have to tell us if you're willing to give us money for you to have a maybe partial vote in what we end up doing.
You can be a producer.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call you. You'll be producers, and then as more people come, there'll be different tiers: gold tier, silver tier, wood tier.
You know how
Grandmaster
a lot of
tier.
communities give themselves names? What would ours be?
The dummies. Let's see. Pointless discourse. I don't know.
If you guys think of one, let us know, and then we'll start calling you that.
Yeah. The potential listeners. The theoretical potential listeners.
What do we say? Share us with your worst enemy.
Yeah.
It's our worst enemies listening.
Yeah. Share us with your worst enemies, your best friends, and that weird cousin down the street. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't want to pretend all of you listening are my weird cousins.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather you guys be my worst enemies.
Yep. Share it with that, I don't know, that person that has a slightly different political belief than you.
Only a little bit, not like opposite.
No, just extremes. We want all the extremes, so that when we put them in, we can call our Patreon the melting pot, where everyone just gets mad at each other.
Where me and you will sit there. Oh, insert director here is overrated. We're not gonna watch them. Watch them be mad.
Look at them. It is a pot of anger. What's that? I forget the actor's name. Hold on, let's see if I can find the GIF in 2 seconds. Yes. Yeah, the chaos brews. Anyway, we should stop here before we say something completely other. But no, I do like that idea. It's just yeah. If people would want to give us cash or money, or just actually that's the same thing, or
cash and money,
social security numbers, we'll take them all.
Credit card, security codes.
Mm-hmm. Help us.
We'll guess the rest of the numbers.
Yeah, it will be like a puzzle. If you all of a sudden like find out that your identity's missing, it's not us.
No. We would never take your whole identity.
Yeah, just part of it. We have enough problems with our own. And with that, we'll see you next week. Bye.